Brought to you by Envision Clothing Company. Use my code Kelly10 for 10% off of your next purchase. Thank you. One, two, three. Hey guys, this is Empire Universe with another episode. So today I'm gonna be doing a kind of like a conference call slash podcast with a UFC fighter, Kyle Prepolec. Sorry, man, if I get it wrong. Um, Kyle Prepolec. That's how I'm gonna say it. So he just got into the UFC. He's a local guy, so I'm just gonna kind of get his per- perspective and his thoughts on things and how his career is gonna go, and uh, and we'll go from there. So I'm just gonna send him a video call here. All right, I think I got. All right. So how's it going, man?
It's going good, just chilling on a Sunday. So, how's things with you?
Good. Just got done training, so I'm pretty tired. I just want to first say congratulations on your UFC contract.
Yeah.
Um, so I think I kind of followed that whole thing about how you got into the fight with Nordine Taleb. So was it just, did you just do a shout out to Mick Maynard or what's his name again?
Well, I know there's Nordine and all them, but I know it wasn't. I just put the tweet out there because when I saw, one of my buddies post on something, I was like, oh, I wonder if this is still maybe still looking, throw my option in. But I didn't know behind the scenes my management and my coach were already on it, so they're the ones that contacted his management and Faraz and all those guys and got in contact, and then they negotiated. So and now here I am.
Wow, that's awesome, man. So obviously, like welterweight's not probably your weight class, right?
No, definitely not. I'm a 155er.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, because Nordine compared to you looked humongous. So, I mean, of course that you lost, which sucks. But I mean, props to you, man, because that guy was a beast. Like, he's
Yeah, well, Nordine's no joke. He's a vet, and he's just a big man. He's good at what he does.
that's good, man. So now I hear that you're preparing for a fight, or your next fight, which is gonna be a lightweight with Austin Hubbard.
Yeah.
That's how you
Oh
say
yeah.
it.
Yeah, Austin Hubbard. Yep.
Okay. So how's everything going with your preparing for that fight?
Everything's going pretty good so far. I got the gym that I train at here, Maximum Training Center in Windsor, my hometown. Then, being a border city, I go across the states to go train at Michigan Top Team, and then I go to strength conditioning at Brady's Fitness. So I circulate and time manage all of it all together just to get the best fulfillment I can get to become the best animal I can be, or mixed martial artist on fight day, pretty much.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I mean, I'm sure you're probably really excited now that you can actually fight at your actual weight class now.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty stoked about that. Like fight someone that's my size, maybe even a little bigger, but not that humongous amount. Like against like Nordine. Like yeah, there's some crazy big lightweights, but I don't think anywhere as big as Nordine Talib is. So it'll be nice to fight someone my size, my weight. Not a big weight difference, not too much of a height difference. So it'll be good.
Oh yeah, that'll be nice, man. Did you happen to catch last night's card?
Uh, I ended up watching only a few of the fights just because I had company over and I had a friend's birthday, and then we ended up just going out to go watch it. And I only ended up catching the Perry fight, Shevchenko, and the end of whoever was before Perry.
I can't remember those two guys. No.
Yeah, it was right at the end when I caught that, so I didn't really get to see it. So I only got to saw or really see the last two.
Oh, okay. And what I don't know. There's a lot of people that are kind of with the main fight with Shevchenko and Carmouche. There's a lot of people saying that was kind of a boring fight, et cetera, et cetera. But I think the problem is with some fans is that if you don't really understand the sport. like of course I think that any fighter wants to put on a good performance, but you know when the stakes are kind of high, I think that you got to do what you got to do to get the victory, right? I mean, you can't always have the flashiest knockouts or uh, the the best moves, right? Like I don't know. What was your take on the fight anyway?
I think it's very smart and calculated. I know it wasn't like the craziest, most exciting fight like that you would normally see out of actually both of them, but it's also at that point they're both such high caliber fighters that any one wrong move or any mistake could be very costly. So, they almost have to be on edge and be careful of what they're doing. And, you got to risk a little more than others, but you can't risk it all just in case you get put in a bad position, like where Shevchenko would catch, Carmouche on the ground, hold her, pepper up a little bit, and then, got to do what you got to do to get that victory. But also, you know, like it's really hard to say because I think we're a little spoiled on Shevchenko, just how like she always throws a lot of the flashy kicks like Taekwondo style, and she's always putting people away, and she avenged her loss against Liz obviously last night, and had to do what she had to do to win. And there's a lot at stake, right? You never know like what someone can bring to the table where they can change. So I think it's just high caliber fights, and you have to make the right moves and play the better game of chess.
Right. No, and that makes sense. And it's good to kind of get a fighter's perspective on it because I think when you hear too many fans talk about it being a boring fight, I don't think they really understand, right? So it's good to get a fighter's perspective on that. Um, so you being another Canadian fighter getting into the UFC, with I don't want to like throw out the big name out there, but with GSP kind of being gone now, I'm sure a couple other male Canadian fighters have probably been asked this, but now with GSP kind of being gone, do you feel like in the next couple of years, do you feel like you could kind of take on that role because because now with GSP kind of gone, there's not anybody that's really gone close to the title yet, other than the guy I'm trying to think of his name. He fought Lawler a couple of years ago.
Oh, Rory
McDonald.
McDonald. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
What do you think?
we had a couple of like great Canadians. Like we had Mark Hominick and Aldo back in
Right.
UFC Toronto, and
Right.
then obviously Roy McDonald, and like there's still quite a few good Canadian like athletes out there, and I think the pressure is to be like George St. Pierre and create that outlook. But it's because he's a huge role model and he is the best of the best. Like he is the greatest mixed martial artist, that, in my opinion, as well, and I think a lot of others. And me being in a lower weight class, I would like to achieve that and strive higher and
Right.
be like that and be that image of a Canadian lightweight, and because he's a welterweight, and and he even went up to 185, and he did what he had to do and handled business there. So to be someone at that level and that high world class level of an athlete and mixed martial artist, I think that's a great goal for everyone to set, and I think everyone's aiming to be just like that.
Yeah, so I guess it's good to kind of do your own path. As much as you want to be the best you can be, you kind of want to set your own path. And I mean, of course, I think everybody looks at, like you said, everyone wants to look at GSP as a role model, but at the same time, I think everybody wants to have their own set. Like everyone wants to go higher and higher. Everyone wants to be, can I do this? Can I be here? Where GSP was here, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, oh yeah, like they want to be at his level and become the next greatest thing. It's like I want to me, and I'm sure a lot of other guys, we want to strive past that. We want to become our own legends and then make a name for ourselves in the sport as well, just like he did.
Right. Um, Kind of going back to with your debut at UFC with your UFC debut, when you got the call, were you kind of were you kind of getting the point where you felt like that was coming? Like, did you feel like your shot at UFC was coming anyway, or like how did you kind of see that come out?
Um, After my one fight against former UFC vet Cody Fister, I was like, there is a possibility and a chance. So I was like, I'll still stay active, but not be like in a serious like fight camp. Just just be in shape and stay ready because you honestly never know. Like any call could come at any moment. And, you got to take that chance and opportunity, and you got to risk it. You got to put it all on the line there, and that's what I tried to do with obviously against Nordine by constantly putting pressure, try to bring the fight. But he was smart and calculated, right? But you know you, I thought I was going to need after that Pfister fight, maybe one or two more, and then get that call, and then just things unfold the way they unfold. Like life has a strange way of doing things.
Oh, absolutely. And I think with any job, I think that you kind of have to take the risk sometimes, and it might be good or it might be bad. But if you don't take that risk in life, with any kind of job, I think that you won't succeed or you won't get to your potential. And I think it's good that you did that because some of these fighters that get into the UFC, they either have to like either get through the contender series or they have to get through the Ultimate Fighter thing, which actually I've not seen them do for a while now, which is kind of weird. I know that Dana White's contender series has been skyrocketing, which is awesome. There's a lot of good guys and girls that are coming out of there, and it's hard to just just get into the fight or into the UFC business, just getting that call like as a backup, right? Or like not a backup, but like as a replacement. So it's good on your part that you capitalized on that.
Yeah, like it was like you said, it's a good risk. Like you sometimes just gotta do your best no matter what, and adapt to the situation. Figure out what happens next. Just go with the process and execute what you got to do.
Right. No, I'm gonna ask you a question, and I mean, I think anybody else that would probably interview might ask you the same question because he's in the same weight class as you. But what is your take on Conor McGregor?
Um, Honestly, I think he's one of the best at what he does, and I think because he's been out of the picture for a while, I still think he's a big threat to everyone. Obviously, like if you look at his past fights, okay, I think he should go back to 145 and try to reclaim that title. Just like maybe get that rematch with Aldo, work his way back up, and fight Holloway, or you know, because I'm sure he could probably do it. Because I can't ever bet against him. My heart and my mind is set with him, and I see how good and skillful he actually is.
Right.
So, but if you look at the past guys he's fought, and like he fought Mayweather, the best of the best, in a
Yeah.
boxing match, and then he fought Khabib, who is the best of the best of the lightweights in grappling, which is a total opposite of what Conor is. And even Khabib caught him with a right hand because the sport's always growing where he kind of stopped a little bit. Now he's got to get back into this and catch up with everyone else.
Do you think that you think it's possible that you think Connor's gonna get kind of a tune-up fight? Do you think now that he's been what like he's kind of been rusty, right? He hasn't really been around for for a while now since the Khabib fight and all that mess that went on there. Do you think he would kind of pick up kind of a just more of a maybe not the biggest fight, but more of a fight that he knows that he might be able to win or
I think what will happen, I guess it'll depend on what happens with Anthony Pettis and Diaz because they might
yeah.
do that trilogy, and then I think that's when he'll make his steps back to where he belongs. Which I you never know with him because he's everything he does is very calculated for like his best interest, the money interest, the UFC interest, the also spike what he's worth and market himself, right? And that's what he's really good at.
Right, and yeah, I mean, I think that all the stuff that's kind of happened outside the octagon with Connor and all the stuff that's going on. I mean, I think that a lot of the news you can't really believe everything that's going on. Like news will take anything that they can to say, point the finger at him and say, well, this is what's going on with him, and it's like you never really know what's going on. Um, but I think as a fan for me as well, like I love Connor. I think he's awesome. I think he sells the fights really well. And I like the fact that as much as there is the trash talk there, after the fact, it's all fun and games for him, I think. And he shows absolute nothing but respect. I mean, unlike other fighters, I saw the card a couple weekends ago, Colby Covington, and I don't know,
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
think the whole
It's a
UFC
little
roster does
distasteful.
not like him. I mean, that's just my take. I can't speak for everyone, but yeah, he's the whole trash talking business. I was watching a thing uh, maybe a couple weeks ago, and they were talking about is the trash talking kind of getting out of control, especially with like the when Connor and Khabib were kind of going at it, and with all the pictures that they were sending each other, and I don't know, it kind of made a little bit. I get it. It's you want to hype up a fight, but it is the trash talking kind of getting out of control. Do you think?
Um, I don't think for on Connor's part or some other people's parts, but I feel that everyone's trying to do like what Conor McGregor does, or like Chael Sonnen, the ones who are very,
Yeah.
methodical and articulate with what they say, to get these people triggered. Where you can tell it's natural for them when the camera and the mic hits them, and they it's very natural to them. Whereas other guys, you can kind of feel it's forced, and it kind of makes it, a little cringy.
Oh yeah.
So I think, yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But I think people should just stick to what they are. Let yourself be real, because then you'll sell that organic and that, the realness of who you are and what you're trying to market. You may not be the best trash talker like Conor McGregor. You could be like you could be a humble trash talker like, George St. Pierre or Anthony Rumble Johnson, or like even like a DC. Not everyone is a Jones, McGregor, Chael Sonnen, and like all those guys. Other people have their own way of doing things, and I think they should stick to just being themselves.
Well, and that's a really good take on it, Kyle. And the thing is too, right? Yeah, you got guys like DC. Like I was seeing the stuff with him and Stipe, and I think like with a lot of the things he was talking about Stipe, I don't think that he's just trying to piss him. Like he's trying to say how it is. I think that he's got a lot of confidence. I mean, I was blown away when that knockout happened. I was like, holy fuck. Like I was,
Yeah,
because
we
I don't
were
know,
all
like
pretty stunned.
I really didn't see DC win the fight for some reason. I don't know what it was. I was like, I don't know, man. Stipe, he's just on this other, he's on this tear. I don't know, and then got knocked out. I was like, what the fuck did I just watch? So I don't know. With someone like DC, his trash talk is real, and it's very much like he just calls it how he sees it. And like another good example is like Nate Diaz. Like, yeah, he kind of comes across as very you know, he seems very like kind of trashy, but at the end of the day, that's just real. Like he grew up in Stockton, and that's how you live, man. And it's interesting, and I think that's why, as much as I think he's got haters, he's got such a big fan base because he doesn't have to go up and go out of his way to say something. He just says whatever's on his mind.
Yeah, he
But,
keeps everything real and organic, and that's just how he is, right? So that's his persona, and that's why exactly like what you said, why people love him.
oh, absolutely. And then like you can see some fights where it's so cringy. Like I'm kind of not looking forward to the Colby and Usman fight because a lot of it's just really cringy. Uh,
Yeah,
of course, I do want to see Usman win, but it's just the build-ups is just I don't know, not too thrilled. Uh, but if you look at like if you look at Jones and Cormier, I mean that was pure bad blood right there.
yeah, that's real emotions behind it and actual like feelings about each other.
For sure. And honestly though, I really don't know how that whole thing started. I don't know if it was just Cormier trying to kind of sell the fight and Jones felt a bit threatened. I don't know how that whole thing started. Like
Yeah,
I
I'd have to review it because I'm like it's hard to because it's been so long with these
yeah.
guys, so it just really depends like where it actually all stemmed from, and because it's still continuing now, right? So like
Yeah.
you'd have to go so far back, years and years, right? So I
Well,
can't help you there.
yeah. Well, the thing is, too, right? Like now that you're seeing the interviews with them now, it just looks like they're getting so tired of talking about the same shit with that's going on between them. It's almost like, what's the point of, it's done and over with. Um, I think it'll be interesting once Cormier retires, because I mean I gotta say he's like what 40, 41 now,
Yeah,
and
I would say so. Yeah.
I mean I think he said that he was going to retire after the Steve A fight. Um, but it would be really interesting to see if he would actually ever like go train with Jones just to like keep the peace, or I don't know.
Yeah, just to see how he is on a real level, real scale, as like an actual like person instead of a competitor.
Oh, absolutely. But yeah, I just wanted to like thank you for your time. I know that you're preparing for you're preparing for the fight. How many more weeks do you have? Or
I This
do you think
is 5 weeks, so four more
5 weeks?
hard weeks, and then we got the cut week on the last week.
Oh, okay.
5 weeks, sorry.
So can you describe me how your weight cuts go for lightweight?
For lightweight, I've been a little more, strict on more like whole foods.
Okay.
So I'm pretty much just eating for fuel, but I'm putting in the right ingredients because everything is coming down to like what's the best for your body, to rehydrate, to fuel, what proteins, what, just like everything has to work together in like such a like well mannered like science almost. So instead of just eating out of pleasure, like before like even fight camp started, I'd eat at night and I'd be like, oh okay, I'll have a snack, I'll go do this, go do that. Now it's like everything has to be timed, and I do a lot of intermittent fasting where it's just lots of water to stay hydrated, a little bit of coffee just to, you know, suppress the appetite just a little bit. And then, after the first training session or certain time of day, that's when I'll start, eating fruits, veggies, uh, you know, uh, beef once in a while. The rest is like lean meats or fish. So it just varies on the day because every day is a different type of workload, right? So everything has to go according to that day, and it just becomes a custom and just becomes an easy like lifestyle after that.
So you don't have you had any issues with weight cuts lately or in the past or
In the past, I have, or there'd be times I'd have the easiest weight cuts, and then my body would go into rhabdomyolysis, which is like a breakdown of my CK levels and like the proteins. So everything from like my hips down would shut down, probably from like overtraining or like an electrolyte imbalance. And there's fights where I'd go in with it and I can't move, and I'm like, well, I got to do what I got to do. So I do my best. I've gotten victories with it, but I've also taken more losses than victories with it. And ever since the one issue I had a couple of years ago, I'm going to physiotherapy, and my friend Samantha, who is my physiotherapist, is she's been taking care of me and my legs, and I haven't had any issues ever since then. So everything's been monitored pretty well, and I'm taking like a healthier, better route for this. So far everything's going so very well. Like even in the past fights that I've had to do, everything was just well timed and well fueled. Everything was good. So
well it's good to hear, man. Now for the when you went and fought Nordine, now you didn't have to cut any weight for that, did you?
um when I first weighed in at the official UFC scale just to see like what, and it was like midday. So after I had like a bunch of water, lunch, and all this stuff, I go and weigh in. I was like anywhere from like 175 to 176. And then the next day, after like working out, doing pads with my coach Reno, uh, I wake up the next day, I'm at 172. And then literally, I was just walking on pretty much on weight without having to like sauna or do any of that stuff. I just pretty much just worked out, made weight, and that was it.
Oh wow, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so that was nice. I didn't have to do like a strenuous deadly cut. I was walking around nice and late. Like if I really like had to for that fight, I probably could have made 155 because what I weighed in after I was done working out, I actually had to drink like water and whatever the UFC gave like for to rehydrate just because I was so underweight that I had to like fuel up.
Right. I hear that there's kind of rumors that they possibly might make like the 165 division. Um, if you were interested, would you go for that?
I would. I probably would. I have done it before, like in other leagues with
Right.
everything. So, and the only thing is if they start doing that, I think they would have to get rid of the 170 division and make it 175, and then make 10-pound gaps instead
Yeah.
of 15 to 20, and then like 125, 35, 45, 65, 75, then 85, then 95, 205, and then I think heavyweights should go like 225 and then 226 to 265. That way it's a little more spread out and you can get a little more, I guess, action from the bigger guys, because some of these big guys that are like 240 can cut 10, 15 pounds for fun, right? So I don't know, there's lots of ideas out there, but until it's like set in stone, can't really say much. But I think that would be probably the best route if it was up to me, obviously.
Do you think that there's a bit of a issue with the weight cutting in the UFC, because a lot of times there's been so many cards in the past where there's so many fighters that aren't making weight. Do you think it's a lot of it the promotions issue, or is it the fighters issue? Because I know there's a lot of respected names out there that have made weight so many times and then they randomly just don't make weight, and it's kind of weird. Like for the longest time, I've watched UFC, been a fan of MMA for a long time, but just in the last year or two, it just seems like there's so many people not making weight, or people getting caught by USADA, or whatever it is. It just seems like it's becoming more of a problem than a solution, if that makes any sense.
Um, to me, I think it's up to the fighters, to do it the best and like the healthiest way possible. The only reason I think maybe it's a lot harder now is because, like you were saying, the USADA thing, and I think that's just from people trying to take diuretics or supplements that are on the banned substance list, and I think they have to calibrate those out because now they can't use those supplements that they used before. So I think it makes it a little harder on them. Whereas before it could have been a little easier. There could have been like who knows what people could have been using to help them actually cut weight and still perform at most optimal prime peak performance you can. So I think now because the USADA is there, I think it's good. It's a good thing because now it's like it's keeping everybody a lot safer. I think it keeps us all smarter. But I feel like it is the athlete's responsibility to make sure you put the right things in, and you know whether like it's food and do the weight cut smart. They give us a certain amount of time. You should be able to time manage and do everything properly without having to like destroy yourself. So like no weight cut is fun. It never really is. So you got to do the best thing you can do to make it as easy as on you as you possibly can.
Okay, right on, man. I just got a few more minutes here, but so I have a really kind of like a fun question for you. So if you were ranked, whatever you were ranked, what would be the fun fight for you in the lightweight division? What would be like a fun fight? Who would you like to fight if you could fight anybody right now?
Oh man, there's a few guys like, especially guys that I like watching. Like I like the main event of the Vancouver card. One day I would love to fight Justin Gaethje or Donald Cerrone. All those guys, like guys I watched like back in the day with like the Tap Out Show, or when WEC, watching all these guys come up and do all their thing, and I'm just like, man, one day I would just to see, almost gauge your caliber and how much better you've gotten to get to that point and that level. I'd love to fight like those guys, and obviously I want to get the belt. Like that's all our goals. Like I feel like if you're not fighting to go for the belt, I don't think you should be really fighting to be in there just to be in there. You should be fighting to be the best you could possibly be and be the best in the world. But everyone in that lightweight division, it's so like it's just a bunch of sharks in that shark tank. So like everyone in there would be a fun match, and obviously like one day maybe get that rematch with Kevin Lee. That'd be fun because we fought way back in the day in 2012. So I think that would be fun too, just to see how much we've grown to make a fun, exciting fight.
I don't know. I think that. Do you ever think Kevin Lee's going to come back to the lightweight division?
I'm not too sure because he is getting older, and he didn't do too bad in his welterweight debut. Like
No.
it may take him, one or two fights to just calibrate that, that size, that speed, and that power difference.
For sure.
But if you look at RDA, he's pretty successful at 170, and he was a 155er, and then even Donald Cerrone, and Kevin Lee's a jack dude, so he could be one of those guys that can fluctuate to go to 55 and 170 like the way Donald Cerrone does.
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of surprised with Cerrone that he was able to go back to 155 because I know at one point, I think after it was his fight with RDA, I think he went up to welterweight after that. I'm pretty sure, I might be wrong, but he went up to welterweight. He got a couple good wins there, and then I think he went back to down to lightweight when he fought Hernandez. And I don't know, he just, other than his last fight with, or I was about to say Kevin Lee, but his last fight with Ferguson, man, I mean, I think if Ferguson didn't beat the snot out of him like he did, I don't know, that would have been could have gone either way. I mean, like Cowboy, man, like he's been different since he became like daddy mode. I don't know. Everyone's calling like Daddy Cerrone or something like that.
Yeah, Dad Cerrone.
That's Cerrone. That's
I think if anything, I think he fights, better now because there's, I think, almost more on the line, and he's got something to do for like his kid now. Like that's his extra motivation, like some people are a little different, but I feel like we're only getting the better version of Cerrone now.
I think so too. I mean, no doubt. I mean, anybody that's fighting Tony Ferguson, I don't blame him for that fight. I mean, that was a tough fight. Tony Ferguson, man, is
He's an animal, man.
he's just something else. But I think his time's coming. In my opinion, as a fan, I think his time's coming where he's going to get clocked really good. I
Yeah.
just see it happening. It's coming. But I mean, you can't deny his playing style. I just kind of have one more question for you, and I'll let you go here. So what does motivate you?
Um, the challenge of, being the best and fighting all these guys. And then obviously, my dreams, my friends, my family, all that kind of stuff. It all motivates me. And, just the excitement and the thrill of, fighting these top elite and world class fighters and, wanting to be better than all of them, I guess. And just that to enjoy the whole process of, the training and, I'm fighting this guy and then work my way up like how George St. Pierre did, be like that, and that's kind of the motivation, just to be the best and, create a future that, you know, something to do something that not everyone can do. That's kind of what I want to do.
That's really good, man. I just that's really good, and it's I think a lot of fighters, yeah, everybody wants to get at the top, and that's great. I just want to thank you for your time, taking your time out, coming on here, and I just want to wish you great, like, good luck with your fight at UFC Vancouver.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on the show as well. I
Hey,
appreciate it.
not a problem. Hey,
Yeah, take it easy, my man.
hey, thanks.